Day 1. Dirty Transit. A month ago, you were an engineer in Iran, until your face was spotted at the protests. The noose for treason forced you to sell everything and find this Kurd on the darknet. Now this cynical smuggler is leading your group of 4 people through the dark forest. Nearby, an old accountant with documents and a former soldier with a cough breathe heavily. The harsh beam of a police drone with a thermal imager narrowly misses your soaked back. The Kurd gives a clear, agreed signal, and you rush in short, quick dashes to the highway. A massive truck with a heavy, deactivated refrigerator trailer is waiting on the shoulder. You quickly climb inside, sliding with your dirty boots on the smooth metal of the floor. Heavy deadbolts clang loudly from the outside, cutting you off completely from the light. Absolute, crushing darkness reigns inside, along with a very persistent stench of rotten fish. The powerful diesel engine starts with a roar, beginning your journey to the British border. You lie face down in the cold, disgusting dirt on the floor, hoping to save remaining strength. Day 2. Toxic vacuum. The old truck doesn't go to the ferry, but circles the French country roads for long hours. The temperature inside the tightly sealed metal box rises rapidly from your body heat. The truck freezes in a stuffy parking area under the scorching sun, waiting for the nightfall. The oxygen begins to burn out. The air becomes incredibly heavy, humid, and unbearably stale. The former soldier breaks into a barking dry cough, wasting the precious remaining gas in vain. You take off your wet woolen sweater, desperately trying to escape the suffocating wild heat. The 40-year-old accountant falls into blind panic and starts punching the truck's wall. His muffled blows get stuck in the thick layer of thermal insulation, yielding no results. The Kurd roughly pushes the panicking man into the darkness, sparking a brief, brutal brawl. Breathing gets much harder. Your temples pulse violently from the increasing blood pressure. You press your sweaty face against the cold wall of the trailer in search of a tiny draft. A black vacuum begins to press on your eardrums, causing a sudden and severe dizziness. Day 3. Engineering survival. The carbon dioxide concentration reaches a critical level, causing intense, violent nausea. The soldier loses consciousness, wheezing as he slides down the metal wall into a puddle of sweat. The cold calculation of an engineer suggests that you will not reach the English shore alive. You feel for the joint of the trailer's rear doors in the dark and pull out your leather belt. Using the heavy metal buckle, you fiercely begin to pick at the thick layer of the rubber seal. Hours of monotonous work rub the knuckles of your fingers into deep, actively bleeding abrasions. The accountant whimpers quietly in the corner, clutching a waterproof bag of documents to his chest. Your muscles cramp from terrible hypoxia, but you continue to scratch the rubber maniacally. The sharp edge of the buckle finally punches a narrow slit, letting in an icy stream of air. You take turns pressing your lips to this tiny hole, greedily swallowing the freezing draft. This pathetic trickle of oxygen doesn't save you from poisoning, but keeps your hearts from stopping. The waiting turns into an endless torture under the steady hum of the old, heavy truck engine. Day 4. Blackwater. The truck suddenly brakes on a wild French coast, and the heavy doors swing open abruptly. Blinding light from flashlights hits your eyes. The icy sea wind burns your wet, dirty faces. The Kurds' accomplices drive your half-dead group onto the wet sand at gunpoint. The soldier remains lying in the truck. The smugglers simply throw his dead body onto the gravel. You are roughly shoved into a cheap, heavily overinflated rubber boat with no license numbers. The dead motor sneezes weakly, and you set off straight into the stormy night of the English Channel. Icy splashes instantly soak your clothes, piercing your exhausted bodies straight to the bone. You snatch an empty plastic bag from the shivering accountant to wrap it around your bare neck. The rough waves toss the light boat from side to side, treating it like a pathetic plastic toy. Chemical burns on your palms from cheap gasoline begin to throb hellishly from the sea salt. The darkness hides the horizon entirely, leaving you alone with the roar of the ruthless strait. No one utters a single word. Everyone is tightly clinging to the slippery lifelines on the sides. Day 5. System failure. Somewhere in the middle of the channel, the cheap Chinese motor finally chokes and dies completely. Another icy wave completely floods the open carburetor, depriving you of movement in the dark. The powerless boat begins to turn wildly sideways, facing the massive 3-meter dark waves. Black, icy water continuously floods your fragile vessel with every single heavy, crushing impact. You find an empty, sliced-open canister and start using it as an improvised water bailer. Your hands scoop out the icy water until your joints begin to cramp severely from hypothermia. Your body temperature drops steadily. Violent shivering turns into agonizing muscle spasms. The accountant simply sits in a puddle, staring blankly into the void through the salty storm spray. Your stiff fingers struggle to hold the plastic, but you stubbornly continue the fight for life. Every dumped liter of water is another couple of minutes of reprieve before inevitable death. The wind tears away your remaining heat, turning your skin into a pale, completely numb crust. The sea plays a cruel game of cat and mouse with you, preparing to deliver its final, crushing blow. Day 6. Breaking point. The sharp crest of a massive wave crashes down from above, breaking the fragile boat frame in half. The thin rubber bursts with a loud pop, throwing you into the freezing 8-degree water. Cold shock paralyzes your lungs, instantly knocking the last remaining air right out of your chest. In absolute panic, the crazed accountant tries to climb onto your shoulders, dragging you to the bottom. The survival instinct disables morality. You kick him straight in the face with your boot to surface. He chokes and disappears into the dark abyss, releasing his precious waterproof bag of documents. You snatch the empty fuel canister from the churning foam, using it desperately as a makeshift float. Tearing a long sweater sleeve with your teeth, you tie the plastic dead tight to your forearm. The water drains the core heat from your body. Your consciousness begins to slip into total oblivion. The curd has vanished in the dark, leaving you absolutely alone to drift in the middle of icy hell. You refuse to close your eyes, digging your nails into your own palms for tiny crumbs of pain. The black waves close over your head, but you stubbornly continue to kick the water with your legs. Day 7. Shore of the Dead. At dawn, a British Coast Guard patrol boat spots your unconscious body floating in the waves. Rescuers pull you onto the metal deck with a boat hook, cutting away your frozen, soaked clothes. In the ward, they pump you full of warm saline, trying to restart your fading, exhausted heart. You survived physically, but there is no happy ending. You are thrown behind bars straight from the hospital. Instead of asylum, a cold cell in a dirty deportation prison for illegal immigrants awaits you. Your hands are forever disfigured by frostbite and a severe, uncontrollable, constant tremor. Your brilliant engineering career is over. You will never be able to hold a simple pencil again. Ahead lies only forced deportation back to Iran, to meet the executioners with a ready noose. All your fellow travelers remained forever at the bottom of the dark strait along with their hopes. Your psyche is permanently broken. Now any noise of a refrigerator triggers a severe asthma attack. The smell of sea salt in the damp prison air makes you collapse into a deep, paralyzing faint. The cold waves of the channel took your soul, leaving only an empty shell waiting for execution.